My name is Ibrahim Mustapha, and I just want to specially welcome you to the Changemakers Hangout. And here we try to encourage, we try to inspire, we try to listen to those who stepped forward and have created change. And I believe that most of the people we're talking to, other governments in other countries appreciate them, and they will love to have them. But maybe our governments may not see that yet. So we want to say thank you to these people for the little they've done and to help some of the young people. They've impacted like over 1,000, 10,000 of lives. And so today we are here to talk to one fine gentleman. And I think if I start the introduction, you will get to know his name. But we need to, he has done a lot, personally, individually. He has changed a lot of lives. And when we talk about camps in Ghana, like whether boot camp, whatever camps, his camp stands tall, not only in Ghana, but in Africa. And today we get to speak to him. So I just want to welcome. He's a consultant and a social entrepreneur. He has done a lot, and he is also the CEO of GhanaThink. And if you hear of this word, Barcamp, I think you know who we are talking to. So welcome me to what bring on board our only brother, Ato Ulzen-Appiah. Always, I just don't get this name right. So,
yes, you got it.
Right.
I think you mentioned it correctly.
Right. So welcome, brother. And
yeah, Empire. Yeah. So thank you. My name is Ato Ulzen-Appiah. Like you mentioned, I'm excited to be on this hangout. I especially love the name of the hangout, Changemakers, because for our Barcamp Ghana program that we run within GhanaThink, our mission, or I guess the idea of that program is to build a network of change makers, doers, and entrepreneurs. So thanks for having me on this hangout, and I look forward to having a very riveting and exciting conversation.
Welcome, Bossman. Welcome, Bossman. You've won a lot of awards. You've done a lot of, you've impacted a lot of lives. And I know you personally, I know someone like you, it's not awards don't move you. You are someone who, like, you're not moved by awards, but tirelessly, you've tried to build a brand, like of the Ghana the Barcamp brand, and you've traveled the length and breadth of, let me put it in the Ghanaian context, all the corners of Ghana, you've traveled. As risky as some places are, you still step forward. And you did this not for you personally, but for people who you see in the streets who are doing great things in Ghana, and you say, I met you at Barcamp. I met you Barcamp Bolga. Some people say Barcamp Wa, Barcamp Kumasi, Barcamp Tama. Thank you for that. We want to appreciate you and to let you know that you've impacted all of us. And it has actually changed a lot of people's lives. Because people I do know, if I want to count, start counting, Tamale alone, people who've changed their lives through Barcamp. I think it's, we have to get a calculator, start adding and adding.
Yeah, so I mean, at least internally at GhanaThink, we have been adding. Yeah. It is interesting you mentioned the awards. I mean, I think the awards, being nominated for awards is really good, and also me winning awards. But for me, I think the nominations are even more important. Right. Because there are so many reasons why you might win an award or not win an award. Anyway, so I don't want to get it, but I think nominations are very, very important.
Sure.
But I think for me and for us, I think like my background is engineering.
Okay.
So I'm very quantitative. I like numbers and data and things like that. So So for me, I think being able to quantify our impact is probably more important than the awards,
Yes.
because when that is happening, everything else follows.
Yeah.
Every type of recognition follows, awards follow. Being able to get funds or raise funds or get partners and get support also follow. You know, because I think for me, when we started Ghana, I think a long time ago, 2004, 2005-ish, it was really like a labor of love, right?
Yeah.
It was something that we wanted to do for, do for Ghana, do for our communities, do for the young people. But as we grew in doing what we're doing with GhanaThink, I realized that this is something that can become more than a labor of love, right?
Yeah.
Um, so instead of just trying to do this for our community and things, I'm also doing this for myself. It's something that I really love to do.
Yeah.
It's something that I want to spend more and more time doing, and to be able to raise funds doing it as well.
Great.
So I think through the years, even just looking at how we've turned Ghana Think from an NGO into a social enterprise,
Right.
right? Where we are moving from, just trying to do this to help people, to making it something like a sustainable business that is around social impact.
Right.
So yeah, I think through the years, this is how some of the things have grown. It's still a labor of love for Ghana because we're really trying to help our country and make it the best it could be. But we've been able to figure out how to make business out of it, how to raise money from it, how to make it sustainable,
Great.
etc.
Great. Great. So yeah, people person, like, I love the people, and I can see the fun, which you can see the image there. I think it
Yeah,
was one of the bar camps. And
yeah. So this was, I believe, Barcamp Bolga 2018.
wow.
Just looking at those who are here.
Yeah.
But I know 2019 and 2018 we had it in the same venue,
Yeah.
but I think from those in the picture, this is 2018. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
actually, this is a good task. Try to guess, where the pictures are from.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a big groupie. So we like to call this a groupie. So it's like a group selfie.
Yeah.
So it's a big groupie we took, I think, at some point during the bar camp.
Great.
So normally what we do is we have the different mentors at the bar camp sit down. So there are some mentors and there are some organizers who are sitting down, and then some of the other participants stand behind everybody.
Great. And the boss
Yeah.
man himself is in front.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah,
one
yeah.
too.
So
Right.
I took this groupie, so
Definitely. Definitely.
we want to
Definitely.
be able to do the camera angles in a way to get the
Right.
picture.
Right. So uh, that is quite interesting. You've spoken to, at least in the past 24 or before COVID, before
Yeah,
Corona 2019 or 2020. You've been in the past 24, that's like 2 years. I think you've quantitatively, you have reached out to close to 50,000 young people, if I put it that way. When you look at digital
yeah,
and all those stuff, and
yeah. So
press,
yeah, I mean, like I said, quantifying our impact is very important.
yeah,
So I mean, we've had about 17,000 people
right,
directly come to the bar camps.
wow,
And then, so apart from that, there's also the social media. We haven't done a count recently, but I think our last counts were about 60,000 for probably Twitter
wow,
direct, like following, and then 40,000 direct for Facebook.
great,
This is for like our initiatives.
great,
And I think we, based on some analysis we did, we felt we had indirectly impacted about 100,000 youth as well.
wow,
As
wow,
of I think we did this in 2018. We haven't tried to measure since then.
sure,
So yeah, I mean but I think for us the direct impact is very important.
yeah,
I mean, you talked about how you probably would have met people from who went we're at Barcamp Tema or Barcamp Tamale, Barcamp Bolga. Because our belief is that, we want people to experience our events and be directly impacted. We want them to take something personally away.
Sure.
So some of the things that obviously we focus on is that we want everyone who comes to the Barcamp to be able to meet. Our goal normally is to meet at least 3 new people. So
Wow.
meet 3 new people, know who they are, know what they work on, and then within that, you also tell people who you are, what you are about, what you are interested in, so that people can get to know you. And then if they need to support you in one way, they support you.
Great.
Within the mentorship, speed mentoring session, people get to know who you are and they give you advice based on what you want to do,
Great.
and not maybe blanket advice for everybody. So for us, the direct impact is very important
Yeah.
because of the network that we are trying to build.
Great.
So yeah, I mean, I think those are some of the numbers that we've measured in the past, and the other thing about quantifying the impact is being able to talk to our partners and talk to our clients,
Great.
right? So people who give us money around different packages for us to help them meet some business goals, which we in turn use for our own programming. They want being able to tell them, being able to measure our impact and tell them how much they'll be able to benefit from associating with us or partnering with us or paying us is very important.
Yeah.
So that's something that we are always, mindful of, and
Wow.
trying to better. So even in bettering the numbers, the other thing is also quality, right?
Yeah.
Because uh, we want these 17,000 people to be people who are above average, right? People who are tech savvy, people who are driven, people like you, people who are hardworking, people who are smart, people who want to get things done. So
Wow.
that's kind of what we look at
Great.
in doing some of the things that we do.
Great.
Yeah. So I think, oh yeah, so this is a picture from the
Barcamp.
last bar camp that we
Barcamp.
had.
Wow.
And this is Barcamp Ahanta
Wow.
2019. It happened, I think, 28th December. Yeah, the date is there.
Yeah.
And we're quite excited about this. So this Barcamp, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I think GhanaThink was mostly represented by 2 of our leaders from Takrady, the Takrady team.
Great.
And so basically, one of the mentors for Barcamp Takrady, Justice Beidu, he's from the Ahanta area, so Aguna Kwanta, if you've heard of those areas.
Yes. Yes.
And he wanted to do a bar camp for the young people who are based there. So I think he just showed up in one of the pictures. If we just go back, I'll just point him out. um, let's go back one. Okay. Maybe, yeah, when he comes, I will show him. Okay, yeah. So anyway, so he wanted to do a bar camp for young people in Agona Kwanta.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, he also wanted to focus on people who were from this area, who
Wow.
might be living elsewhere, living in Takrady, living in Accra.
Great.
So just stay here. So that was Justice in just the last picture that we saw.
Okay.
So GhanaThink partnered with him and his organization called One Ayinda to do this bar camp in Agona Kwanta.
Wow.
And I think it went really well. We had maybe just about within 50 to 70 people.
Yeah.
But if you've gone around a lot of places in Ghana, that's Herbert, the Barcamp Takrady lead. He was taking that selfie.
Wow.
Yes, that's Herbert Champong, one of our most active GhanaThink members. Really, really, really awesome guy. And so the idea was, in some parts of Ghana, you don't have as many young people who are interested in events like this,
Yeah.
right? Who wants to develop themselves personally. And because the thing is, on the flip side, there are so many other young people who would make excuses why they won't go to events like this.
Yes.
So even being able to get about 50 to 70 people in Agona Kwanta was a great number. And one thing that we've done after that is started a Hunter Connect
Yeah.
for people there. So basically, once we started the Barcamps in 2008 in Ghana, we've always had communities around the people who come to the Barcamp because, like I said, we are trying to build a network of change makers, doers, and entrepreneurs. So
Great.
for us, it's very important that people know each other. They are in touch. They are always able to hang out and follow each other and work together. So we started with Google Groups, where
Yes.
people join these Google Groups. They were able to, have discussions, share different things. And then fast forward to about 2014, we started something called Kumasi Connect, which was to, because the bar camps happen once a year in each
Yes.
location in Ghana. So the Kumasi Connect was to have smaller seminars or events for people to come and share what they are doing, network, hang out. So we started that in Kumasi. It was going well. We had about maybe 8 events over the course of maybe 2 years. And then sometime, probably early 2016, if I can remember correctly, we started Connect WhatsApp groups.
Okay.
So the idea was, let's bring some of these communities from Google onto WhatsApp because WhatsApp is really big in Ghana, and that is a way that people really relate. So we created WhatsApp groups for people in different locations in Ghana. So we started with Kumasi, eventually started other locations. And so once we were done with the Barcamp Bahanta, we created a WhatsApp group for people based in Agona Kwanta, people who are interested in Agona Kwanta or want to engage at Agona Kwanta.
Great.
And today we have these connect groups all over the country. We have bar camps. We've had bar camps in 16 locations in Ghana now,
Great.
but we have connect groups in probably 22 or 23 locations.
Great. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wonderful. Because if you look at the impacts and like.
So this is Barcamp tema last year.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Still keep all of them in your mind.
Well, I mean, you see, the good thing is, because of the way we organize the bar camps and because it's so interactive,
yes,
right? It's very, very, very interactive. Because it's so interactive,
yeah,
it's easy for a lot of the GhanaThink members to figure out which bar camp it was. Because we recognize people. We're like, oh, yeah, this guy is based in Tema, or this guy came to this particular bar camp. And sometimes too, the t-shirts also help, right? So you can see, if people are wearing a Barcamp Tema t-shirts mostly, you can tell that that's, Barcamp Tema. So it makes it very easy for us to, it also makes it easy for us to measure our impact.
Yeah.
Because we know people, personally.
I think the other question has to do with the one-on-one. The one-on-one mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been to some of the Barcamp groups, and I think it actually has some impact, a lot of impact. With the speed mentoring and all those things. No matter the number of people, like whether they are 1,000 or 100 or 2,000, you still get to what? Be mentored one-on-one, speed mentoring. So what's the secret behind that?
What's the secret behind that? I think the very first speed mentoring session we had was in the Barcamp we had in Accra in 2011. Okay. So I think, and this didn't even come from me. I think it came from other GhanaThink members, and they thought it was a nice idea to implement as well, because of like the networking side of things. So some people might have heard about speed dating.
Yeah.
Where you go around and you date a lot of people for a few minutes. So it's the same idea, right? So we're trying to network people. We want people to get to know more. So speed mentoring. So that was the idea. It started then.
Right.
And I think one of the major reasons why we do this is because we believe the events are organized for those who are participating more than those who are organizing. So the person who is the participant has to be able to get something that's for them, So the idea is that if they get to talk to, so first they will choose a mentor based on what the mentor is focused on, their sectors and what their interests are. And then they get to get a lot of advice from that person based on what they are doing. right? So if I am a UCC student and I'm studying education, but what I really want to do is bake bread, then I'm able to learn about how can I get into baking bread, or if I'm already baking bread, how can I do it better? You know, so that's kind of the reason around the speed mentoring, and it's also to force people to not be shy, right?
Yeah.
Because if we are telling you to go and talk to a mentor, you know, it's making you be active, it's making you be proactive. This is a picture from Barcamp Accra 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe 2018. Yeah. This is when we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. So just like I was saying, so it makes them proactive, you know, so they don't come to the event and sit in one corner and then leave without talking to anybody, right?
Sure.
It really helps
Sure.
them to be able to figure out what do I need and what can I get help with.
Right. Wow. So I think if you are just watching or listening, if you are listening on IM radio, you may not see the pictures. But if you are watching on YouTube, on Facebook, or any of our platforms, you will see that the impact is actually real. Like you see it, you feel it. You see that people are happy, and this. So I will urge, if it is government or whatever institution that we have that wants to actually touch the lives of young people, I think this is a model that they can just incorporate and say that, okay, even if we want to choose a minister of youth and sports or whatever it is, and it has something to do with career development, just say, oh, Barcamp, GhanaThink should be doing this. So if I allocated like $10 million for you just to continue this, because it's a replicable model. It's a model that
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen.
really replicable, and I'll tell you something interesting. I think um, so we've always scaled the bar camps, right? Like we
Yes.
started in Accra, moved to Kumasi, moved to Takra, they moved to Tamale, and then we got to the point where we had done the 10 regions, 10 regional capitals, plus
Yes.
Tema and Kaswa. At that point, we decided that we were going to just stick with those locations because we wanted to impact those locations more and not continue to spread ourselves too thin. But we've always had people approach us that, oh, we want to do a bar camp in Takwa, we want to do a bar camp in, you know, this town, that town, Hohoi, etc. And what we started to do was we felt that it would be best to partner people who were organizations, because some people will say, oh, let's partner to do the bar camp, but because we didn't want to keep on spreading ourselves too thin, we
Yeah.
didn't always have funds to come and do the bar camp in Hohoi
Yeah.
or come and do it in Takwa. So the idea was, let's partner. You know, we would help you organize the bar camp, but you would have to raise the funding, because raising funding is very hard.
Yes.
You know, I mean, even though we've been able to do so much, I'll say the reason why we've done so much is because we run very lean and our budgets are very little,
Yeah.
right? So we don't need as much money to do so many things. That's the secret for why we've done so much, really. I
Yes.
mean, we haven't gotten a lot of money like others, but we're able to like really make it work.
Great.
So the kind of so we had a few organizations. So all the other backgrounds we've done have been youthful organizations that are based in those locations who wants to do this for that location. So we have Verdant Global, whose lead has done a lot of work in Ada and Somenya. So we partnered with them to do Barcamp Ada, Barcamp Somenya. I told you about the Barcamp Hunter story.
Yeah.
Last year as well, we had our first Barcamp in Kintampo, where we partnered with some students of the Kintampo College of Health. And in
Great.
the past, we've done 2 Barcamps in Ashesi,
Wow.
both times partnering with students organizations in Ashesi. We've had a bar camp at UPSA, we've had a bar camp at UDSWA, and we've had smaller engagements. So that's how we've kind of continued to grow.
Great.
You know, so we are very willing to, you know, partner with people to do different. I mean, we partnered with GH Scientific to do a bar camp in science. We partnered with Mobex to do a bar camp in technology. So, you know, that's how we are trying to continue to scale the brand, by those who think that the model that we are running is great. They want
Great.
to see that model implemented in different parts of the country or for different subjects or sectors. And then we just work with them to get it done.
Wow, that's wonderful. So I just like you made mention from the beginning, I don't want to like complain sometimes like I feel like if this is what we're supposed to do, this is what I'm supposed to do. With government support or without government support, we just do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And but I can tell you for a fact that from the countries I have visited and the interactions I've gotten to, like I've interacted with ministers, presidents, and all those stuff. And I can tell you for a fact that those countries are developing because of initiatives like this. When you look
Mm-hmm.
at currently, Rwanda has this
Yep.
youth connect, and the
Yes.
purpose is just
Yep.
to like to reach out to young people, get more ideas from other people, and bring it
Yeah.
up. And you see that it has
Yeah.
branded Rwanda in a way.
Yeah.
Yes, every young
Yeah.
person wants to go there.
And I think it's interesting. I mean, youth connect is something that the government kind of led.
Yeah,
I know several Ghanaians who've been part of that as well.
yeah,
But just to chip in on the government side of things, um, I think for us, we know that from the very beginning, when we started doing the bar camps, one of the things that has held through till today is that we did not want to be political or partisan political in a sense. So we
sure.
wanted to be apolitical, if I can put it that way. And we just felt that a lot of the times, too many times when you have politicians at events, they are doing politics. And that's something that we do not want to have in our events. So the approach that we've taken is to engage people around the country who work in government, who we think are really interested in the development of people in their localities, or wants to see the best and will not do politics, right? So that's kind of the approach that we've taken. So for instance, like the NYA regional directors in Upper West have been really great for us,
Yeah,
right? I mean, the old one, Mumuni Sulemana, and the new one, Archibald Donko, from different governments, have been to bar camps and they've been awesome, right? We've also had the NYA director from Western region also come to our bar camps severally, and also really participated. So those are just a few examples of like government, people that we've engaged. And we also like to engage more of the assemblymen and assemblywomen. So we've had a number of them come to the bar camps as well, and as well as the district assemblies, because we feel that, I mean, maybe it's changing, but we felt that those are the people who are really interested in development and not so much trying to do politics to push a certain political party or to push a certain political brand. So that's how we've engaged them in the past. And one of the things that we've started investigating or looking at, we haven't had too much success, is to work with district assemblies to do bar camp type events in their districts,
right,
right? So it's as simple as you want to do something for your youth, but let's partner and do something in a bar camp way for your people there.
right,
So it's something that we are looking at. We haven't had any of those yet, but I mean, Barcamp at that, Barcamp Somenya, we've had a lot of people from the assembly being involved. Same thing for Barcamp at Hunter when we had it last year. So it's something that we are still working on.
right,
And for us, we want to get it right and we want to do it in the best way. So sometimes we don't tend to always rush things. And also, I think the other important part is also even just the financial aspect of it, right? We want to get, the right people involved. So sometimes it takes a while to convince such people, and we are willing to wait. But the great way, I think the good thing about the Connect groups is that it allows us to continue to do things in places whilst we wait. So for
right,
instance, now we have 6 new regions in Ghana.
right,
You have Sifi, also as a capital. You have Go also as a capital. You have Damong Go as a capital, and you have Dambai as a capital in Oti region. So
right,
whilst we wait to go there to do something like a bar camp, we have connect groups in Sifi. We have Sifi Connect, Go also Connect, Oti Connect that we just started, Savannah Connect that we just started. So we can start to engage people, kind of bring the GhanaThink bar camp model to more young people before we even get into the idea of doing events.
Great.
And that's also been very valuable for us during this COVID period, right?
Yeah.
So people see back GhanaThink, we're always doing events, and then they ask, because of COVID, you can't do events. So how is that affecting you? But now we have our connect groups, we have our social media that we are paying more attention to, and they are doing well, even when we are not doing events.
Right.
Right. So I think we always have to try and adapt and, work on different things. And probably maybe the last thing I will say about this before we move on is for Ghana, I think we try to focus on what we can do very, very, very well.
Right.
Because of the way we organize the bar camps, so many types of people, young people come to the bar camps and engage.
Right.
And we know that some people are working on this, some people are working on that. So for us, we want to do what we can do really well and leave some of the other things to others who are working on them, right? We don't want to compete with everybody on everything, right? Our focus is networking, mentoring, volunteering, and now we are getting into training. So, we want to focus on the things that we can do very well. And those things even come out of things we've done in the past. Junior Camp Ghana, which is for high school students, came out of what we're doing with Barcamps. Ghana Volunteer Program came out of that. Comseco came out of our ability to reach a lot of young people. So that's how we've continued to build. That previous picture was from Barcamp Wa. This is Barcamp Cape Coast that we are looking at right now. I think this is 2018 or 19.
1918.
And this is from Barcamp Ho. So yeah, and I mean the pictures that we even use for the flyers are from previous Barcamps as well. So it's just great to see all the people who are doing, great things. Because part of measuring our impact is if we see a news story and we see that someone has done something very interesting and we see their name, we could be able to tell whether they came to a bar camp or not. That's how well we know those who've come to bar camps.
Right.
And that's all down to the interaction and the personal touch at the bar camps.
Great. So that's wonderful. So if you are just joining us, we're talking to the boss man himself, Ato. And when we talk about impacts, or we talk about change makers, I don't look at what has happened in Rwanda or US or whatever. I just pick them as a model and I celebrate them every day. And that is what I want all of us to do. So if you're at home, whatever you are doing, don't complain about your situation. There are others who are also being faced with the same challenges you have been faced with, but they are living their lives. And they're not only doing it for themselves, but they've changed a lot of people. The testimonies are there. When you go anywhere, you can, for sure, you can never go to a region in Ghana and meet 10 change makers, and you not see one of them or two who've never been to Barcamp. It's not possible.
Yep.
If you go and
that's exactly what we are trying to do. Because one of the things that we also believe in is we like to call it horizontal inspiration. Right? So if you have people who are working on something, you want to be able to inspire them through their own colleagues. Right? So if, like, I am a 28-year-old person doing some very interesting things in the Western region, you want to be able to inspire them by other 28-year-olds who are doing things in the Western region, who have been able to overcome some of the challenges that they are facing now. Right? So horizontal inspiration in that sense. And also the idea is that you want people to get to know each other, so that if I have a conversation with someone and they are trying to do something, I can point them to someone else who can help them, either giving them advice or working with them on something or delivering a service for them, and the idea is that those people are also near them, right? I mean, imagine, we know a lot about Tamale. Imagine in Tamale, people are trying to get things done, and then they're like, oh, I have to go to Accra to get this thing done. But you don't know that some people in Tamale can do it. That's why you're going all the way to Accra, right? So the idea of the bar camps is to show people that there are so many awesome people near you who can help you get things done in a certain way, and it builds that network that way.
Great. That's wonderful. So we have here we have your other boss man himself, Peter Winnie.
So
He's
let me
big.
say something quick about Peter. I mean, yeah, so this is from Tamale Connect. You can see Tamale Connect meetup. So we started to do, it's really sad that COVID came at the time that it came because in March, I think around 6th March, we had meetups in 9 different locations in Ghana that weekend
Right.
of the 6th March.
Right.
So, I mean, Peter is a very awesome guy. He came to, I think, the first couple of bar camps in Tamale. He ended up joining the Barcamp Tamale team, working on resources. And
Yeah.
then at a Tamale Connect meetup, I don't know if it is this particular, hold on. I, I think it's this one.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's. Oh no, it's not this one. So this is the one at Jola's Cafe. So this is the one from this year. But
Yeah.
there was a Tamale Connect meetup earlier on, probably 2015-ish, where Peter got the idea for Cow Tribe, which is his current business. And
Wow.
I remember clearly from Barcamp Tamale 2016 that he was having a lot of conversations with people about, veterinary services, and then he started Cow Tribe, and a lot of us have heard Cow Tribe story, right? And how well they are
Yes.
doing. And one of the things I even really love about Cow Tribe is how they are trying to train their employees.
Yeah.
They're having all these stand-ups to discuss different issues around the things they are working on. This is from Barcamp Tamale,
Oh, yeah.
I think this year. No, so not this year, last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we have so many, and actually, this Barcamp Tamale that we are talking about, most of the funding came from Cow Tribe,
Wow.
right? So that's something that we have worked on and we really love. So through the years, we've wanted to get to the point whereby it's not like we get a lot of the funding for GhanaThink from places in Accra
Yeah.
and then we spend it in different parts of the country, right?
Yeah.
We want to be able to get more of the funding locally. So actually, the Barcamp Kumasi team started. They've done very well with this. I think Barcamp Kumasi 2018, most of the funding for that Barcamp came from organizations that are based in Kumasi.
Wow.
And then we've been able to continue to do that. We've had some of that in Wa, some of that in Ho, in Takrade. And then last year for Barcamp Tamale through Cow Tribe, most of the funding came from Tamale,
Great.
right? So we are trying to, it's not just about getting. I mean, Airtel Tigo has been our biggest partner, through the years. So it's not just about getting all the funds from Airtel Tigo, but being able to get partnerships and clientele from even smaller organizations around the country, and especially organizations run by people who have come to bar camps in the past. They've seen the impact, they've seen how it's supported them, and now they want to be part of what we are doing.
Wow. Wow. So I think that is very important, and you've done a lot. Quite frankly, of the work that you've put in, and of troublesome friends like cola nuts.
Shout out, Cola. Shout
don't
out.
let don't
Shout
let
out the
him
whole
hear this.
Barcamp family
I
team.
swear. Very
Yeah.
naughty and stuff. What are some of the challenges like that you faced in this period? Like,
So
from,
I think
yeah.
um hmm, I mean I'll say definitely like the biggest challenges have had to do with uh even the volunteering part
Mm.
and the financial parts. So let me take the volunteering part first.
Right.
I mean, as we've grown, the good thing is that we always have a lot of people who want to volunteer with GhanaThink,
Yeah.
because they see what we are doing, they see the impact. People come to bar camps, and after the end of the bar camp, they're like, I want to join your team. So
Right.
we don't tend to have a huge challenge with people wanting to volunteer. But we also need to continue to be able to incentivize volunteers and motivate volunteers,
Sure.
especially after a period of time. So some of the things that we've tried to work on is how can we give our members more benefits, right? How
Right.
can we give them more responsibility but give them bigger stipends? So I'll say that that is a bit of a challenge. around, the incentivizing and the motivating, but we always tend to have volunteers, and I think we've done quite a good job around that. I mean, most of the people who've been part of GhanaThink are still part of it. Most of those who are inactive is because they are busier with other things, and that's something that we also understand. You're just busier these days. You can't do so much with GhanaThink. That is fine. On the financial side, because we run very lean, we haven't had huge challenges with finances.
Yeah.
To be frank, because we run lean and we have small budgets. Obviously, if we had more funds, we could do, better, bigger Barcamps,
Yeah.
right? So I'll say probably with more funds, we could also have scaled more. I mean, I'll tell you for a fact that I'll say probably since 2018 started, yeah, we have tried to control the numbers of people at Barcamps,
Yeah.
right? Because we know we don't have big budgets to do like a 250-person Barcamp in Tamale. Our funds can only afford like 150 or 180. So we've intentionally done that because we want to have a good experience for those who come, right? We want to have a quality experience, and it's not always about the numbers, right? It's about, do a very good job, let people see this, let them love it, so that the next time when you're marketing, you don't even have to spend that much on marketing or publicizing because they're going to go and do it for you. So I'll say those have been a few challenges. Yeah, I mean, I think definitely, there's we know what we are working on,
Right.
and for the most part, we achieve it. But definitely with more funds, we could do more.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
with more funds,
wonderful.
we
For
could do
more
more. Yeah.
funds, there's always more to be done. So I will urge
Yes,
whoever's listening.
we have a lot of work to do.
There's
As
a
for
lot
that,
of, yeah, when you look at
there's
the
a lot
youth
of work
these
to do.
days, young people these days, and I think if we, and that was my point from the beginning, if government wants to actually tackle the problems that we face in Ghana concerning youth unemployment, these are the
Yep.
things that we need to do. I
Yeah.
don't even believe in the fact that tertiary education has done more in terms of getting people employed. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
through initiatives like this that
Mm-hmm.
they get the experience, like you mentioned, Carl Tribe getting his idea from there. And a lot
Yeah.
of people that I've known personally, I've coached in Barcamp who have also started one or two things. So if government wants to actually not
Also,
be
also, yeah.
political and want to
Yeah.
do things the right way, I think just sit back, pump the money in where it's supposed to be. You don't even need to minister to come or to do whatever. You just know that we are giving back and just based on their model. There's a number of people they've impacted over the years. Junior Barcamp is there, Barcamp, whatever, all these platforms. So I think that, yes, if you are listening, if my friends who are close to government or will be close to government in the near future, these are things that you don't need to think too much. And it's just a basic policy, basic way of like getting people inspired, getting them employed, and giving them the motivation to learn more. And if you look at other organizations, other countries, like I mentioned about, this is the model they run. When you look at the yearly programs, or you look at all the youth programs, they're just looking at models like this, similar like this, and they are picking it up to get ideas. You've done a lot when it comes to like internationally. You've been part of since 2012, from 2009 and all those years. You've been doing some international works. You've been different travel to different places and stuff. So how has the experience been like also? And how is that compared to what you do in Ghana?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think it's important that we all learn best practices. I
Right,
mean, to be very frank, a lot of the bar camp ideas and some of the things that we do, at least when we started, it came
right,
from the US,
right,
right? We started to do the first bar camp in Ghana in 2008 because myself, Patricia Mbia, and Henry Bano, who are all co-founders of GhanaThink. We had been to Barcamp, Africa, at the Google headquarters in Mountain View, California, right? So we had seen the way the Barcamp happens, and we wanted to bring that idea to Ghana. So we are always looking at what are some of the best things that are happening elsewhere that we can implement in what we do. And the great thing is that, we've had people from around the continent also learn from us to do similar things where they are. And it's something that we all need to do. So, I have a lot of, from my time at Google, even before I joined Google, I knew, because of Twitter, I knew a lot of people like myself in different African countries. And, I was engaging with them on Twitter, engaging them, on email after. So through Google, I got to visit a number of African countries and got to meet some of these friends that I was engaging on Twitter. So we had a lot of discussions about, what they are doing, what we are doing, how we could learn and make the things that we are doing better. So we are always having these conversations. And then later on, when I joined Global Shapers and, got the chance to, go to Davos, I went to WEF events in Cape Town, Abuja, and Kigali, also sharing with them, learning what some of the things that they are doing, some of the things that we are doing. So we always just have to be aware, right, of what's going on in different places, and then pick some of the things that are happening in these places to improve what we are doing locally, right? And it's not the idea of, this is not the idea of, stealing ideas. It's like, how can we learn from you to do something better where we are? So that we can all have better communities, and ultimately, everybody tends to benefit, because if as our organizations like CalTribe and Co continue to scale around the continent, because of the work that we've done in different localities, they'll be able to, they'll be accepted more, they'll be adopted more, and people will adopt the best things, right? And I think that's probably the most important. I think we just have to learn how to do things even better, so that even though we know a lot of young Africans are smart as a lot of young people around the world, we also need to be able to build track records that show that we can get things done.
Great, great, that's wonderful. So we've been talking to the boss man of change makers, Ato Ulzen-Appiah, and he's done a lot from what he said and what you've seen, and those who know him personally attached to this. You can also do more. You can also create change when you are at home. Whatever you do, just wake up, start something, create that opportunity, attend a Barcamp, or meet mentors, and you can be able to do more. So finally, it's been a great conversation, and I want to also just pull this. That was the award, the nomination for the Ghana Integrity Personal Entrepreneur. Right. Congrats.
Yeah, and here we have Manasseh. Manasseh has he mentored at Barcamp Tema, one of the Barcamp Temas, maybe 2014-ish. I think by far this is probably one of the most exciting things I've been nominated for.
Right.
When I think about this, I think about my father. I think about my father. I think about how honest my father is when he's having chats with me. So this was awesome. At the awards, my mom and my dad were both at the awards ceremony. To support me, even though I didn't win. It's really funny because I remember when we were there and they were talking about some of the other nominees, even like Manasseh, right? We're talking about how much money Manasseh has saved Ghana through his anti-corruption work. And I was like, hey, Chai, I've not really saved Ghana that much money. And, Domelovo, who is the Auditor General, they talking about how much money he saved Ghana. I'm like, hey, Chai, okay. are really up against it. But I mean, it was just really awesome to be nominated amongst these people. And yeah, and I think talking about integrity is a big thing. It's something that we need more in the country. So I was very honored. I was very, very, very excited about this.
Great, 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 great. Thank you very much. And I think this was a big, one of the biggest milestones. It's not about how much you save money in terms of Ghana, but how many brains have you changed? How many brains have you like turned around? How many, like, what have you done? And I believe that you've done a lot. It's impacted a lot. You've been true to your words, consistent over the years, and you've helped a lot of people. So that's a good milestone, Bossman. We appreciate. So you know a lot of people, you know a lot of young people around Ghana, and so maybe your final words, and if you can give some people a cola and all those people some, but don't mention cola. It's a stubborn
so
guy.
let me shout out the Barcamp Tamale team of
Yes.
Nash, Jawad, Yakubu, McCarthy, and Fauzi, who are now working on Comseco. But you also have Midas, Yakuba.
Yeah.
Even older ones like Jessica Kwachin, Jamila Abdullah was very instrumental. We started Barcamp Tamale as well. And all our volunteers, they know themselves. So, yeah, I mean, I think what I would like to say, especially during these times that we are in, these COVID times, I think, I mean, the most important thing is to stay healthy, right? To stay healthy, to stay safe. But I would love to see more people take the responsibility of educating people about COVID. We hear people say that they don't believe it exists and things like that. So I think we all have to take the responsibility of educating people about this. Let's not be afraid that they will insult us. Let's not be afraid that they will say something, whatever it is. Let's just persist and try to help everybody. So yeah, so that's my message in this period. And like we see at GhanaThink, let's talk more action, less complaining, more doing, and yeah, more of him to everybody.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you for the change you've created in Ghana. You've changed a lot of people, impacted a lot, and we may not celebrate you every day. People may not even see what you do, right? But to be frank, you've done a lot.
Yeah,
you have done a lot.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Ibrahim, for inviting me. Keep up with the good work around public speaking is important. We need to get people to break out of being shy and to be more proactive. So we really support you with doing that, and let's make our people better.
Right. Thank you, Bossman. All the best. I appreciate it.
Love it.
Bossman.